You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network. Visit pencilandpaperproductions.podbean.com to find more great podcasts.
Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
Welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me is my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Happy Monday.
And we have a special guest joining us today, Katrina.
Hello. Hello, good morning.
Yes. She's joining us for our festivities today because we have an interesting topic, as you well know, looking at the icon art and seeing what the headline is. We're going to be talking about video game movies, because they're... It's something that I think we've just always briefly touched on in this episode, but we're gonna go a little
or
in
grumbled
depth
about or something. Yeah.
So we're gonna talk in great detail about it a little later on, but right now we're gonna ask the simple question of what have you been playing? So who wants to go first? Katrina,
well,
since you're joining us, you're a guest. What have you been playing, if anything?
Well, I have been playing Kingdom Hearts, the newest one, 3.
So, Kingdom Hearts 3.
I had to remember because there's so freaking many of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's at least 1, 2, and 3, and then all these side spin-off games or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, how's that going?
It's actually a lot better than... I guess I went into it, I was excited about it, but I was also kind of worried.
Mm-hmm.
I've only had one complaint so far, which is part of the combat. And it's basically the, in the old ones, you could lock on to your enemies and just attack that certain enemy. Well, now it has the lock on feature, but it jumps from enemy to enemy. So you can be attacking one and then you get too close to another one, or another one gets too close to you, and it automatically jumps and locks on to the next one. So it kind of messes with your combination attacks and stuff like that. But they have made it a lot easier with, you get basically special attacks with your keyblades, and you can actually equip more than one keyblade now. You can have up to 3 of them at once. And I've only gotten to like the 3rd world because it's an open world and they're so big and it takes so long.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to try it at some point. The backlog.
I'm surprised you haven't, because I knew that was one that you had been wanting and then clamoring for before they even announced it was going to be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, she got it on her own. And, she'd been wanting to play it. So I was like, well, yeah, you can play that. And
she got it for herself. You got to let her play it first, for sure.
But, there was a game that I bought
works.
There was a game that I bought for her that she never did finish. So I've been playing it. I haven't played it recently, but, Spyro, I did play it. And I do want to kind of get back into that and try to play that. But, got it for her because she was clamoring for it and she never played it.
You did get it for me, and I love Spyro.
But
it's a lot of nostalgia.
But
when I was younger, it was so much better than it is now.
Well, I played it and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun.
Did you ever play it when you were younger?
No, I did
exactly.
not. Okay. But it feels like a great game.
There's some games that just like you wish you would have left it alone because, that feeling I had as a kid is not the same right now. Yeah.
Apparently not.
I mean, it's really fun. It just, especially in the first one, there's not a whole lot of storyline. Like, I honestly believe it could be one that our 4-year-old could play and it not be like, difficult.
Right. Okay. Well, fair enough. Fine. I'm having fun with it. The time that I played it, I had fun with it. I've
It
never
was still
played
money
before.
well spent, regardless.
Yeah. So what about you, Lace? What have you been playing?
I jumped on the bandwagon this week and started A Plague Tale: Innocence.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? Like, it was one of those that it kind of slid under the radar for me. I remember a viewer of mine on my stream had sent me a brief blip about it a few months back, and I thought it looked interesting, and then didn't think anything more about it. And then it just seemed to kind of sneak in its release date, and I wasn't quite sure about it. Watched a few people play it, and I was like, you know what? This does look like a game I'd really enjoy, and dove in. And I don't think I'm quite halfway through the game yet. I think I just started chapter 5 or 6. So I've gotten a good meaty portion of it in, and it's really good.
Okay.
It's really good. Like, I've been hearing a lot of great reviews about it. I don't know that I am calling it game of the year, which is a lot of terms that I've been hearing, getting
Well,
thrown
people
out.
throw that around so much now. I hate that.
But I don't want to knock it, though, because it is really good. The writing is very strong. The mechanics play really well. The world that they've created it's just a gorgeous looking game, too. And it's mostly stealth based, or at least that's the way it wants you to play. You play Amicia, who's a younger teenager. And the premise is that you have a younger brother named Hugo, which in the beginning you don't really know what the deal is with him, except he's been sick and they've kept him pretty much locked up in a room. I hate to say locked up because they have been mistreating this kid, but he has some sort of illness that they felt the need to keep him secluded in a room for, I think, the beginning of the same, about 4 or 5 years. So Amicia doesn't even really know her younger brother that well because they've just not had any interaction together, and pretty much the only one that would be there would be his doctor. And then the Inquisition comes, and you're of royal blood, and everyone dies except for you and your younger brother. And the last thing your mom says is, hey, go take care of your brother. And so at first it's going to sound like crap. I'm having to drag this little kid around with me everywhere for the game, and I have a little love-hate relationship with having just like a kid protagonist that I have to deal with throughout a video game. But the way that they wrote it, like the interaction between those two, it's really quite intriguing because she's still too young to really know what's going on and doesn't really know her brother. She just knows she has to protect him for some reason. Like, we don't really know what it is because everyone's after him, you find out. They're wanting this kid. And, he'll throw a fit like a kid will throw. And you start to get annoyed at it. And she kind of does the same thing where she gets annoyed at her brother also. So it's like, it's the way that it was written, like you got these two young kids going through this horrible ordeal where they're trying to run from these people. And she's just trying to protect him, even though she doesn't really know who he is. She just knows she has to. And she's still too young to be able to put up with it too. And it's just the interaction was written very well. It plays very nice. The only weapon that you have is a slingshot, and you have the opportunity to throw pots, and then eventually you can start making fire ammunition to go into the slingshot or anything, because light becomes a huge thing in this, because all of a sudden you'll find out about an hour in, there's just these hordes of rats.
Yeah, I remember
that
the rats.
just start to come after you. And the only thing that will save you from them is a light source. So either you have a torch that you can carry from time to time, or you just got to book it from one light source to the next, because I tell you what, it gets brutal if those rats get a hold of you. They pick you apart. It is just hordes and hordes and hordes. It gets a little bit I was kind of shocked. I wasn't expecting it to be so brutal as it was, with how some people were murdered, or just watching these hordes of rats go on top of them and just eat them alive. So it's not a horror game, but they have these horror elements to it that just really keep you in suspense. And the music was done really well when things are starting to get tense. I recommend it, man. I really recommend it. It plays well. If you're not a huge stealth fan, this might get a little old to you. But they make it kind of terrifying, though, too, because some of the stealth elements, it's really close quarters.
Yeah.
You've got to try to distract them, and as soon as they turn around, you got to go, and you've got to help Hugo up. So it's just that whole of like trying to help him up. He's literally 2 feet right there. If he turns around, he sees you. They've built that suspense. You're like, freaking go, you know, like you're just screaming at this little kid, like just freaking get up there, would you? Oh my gosh. So I haven't quite finished it. I've heard it's not insanely long. So I would imagine I heard like 16 hours.
Okay.
It's about what it would top out at for you to finish it. And so that means for me, it'll probably take about 20 to 24 because obviously with me streaming it, I'm stopping, I'm talking, I'm taking breaks and things like that. But
right.
really, really good. Really, really good. It kind of surprised me how much I was going to be into it.
I'm
so
glad.
Go get it.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear positive because what I think Todd had sent me a trailer for it and I was kind of aware of it, but not to that degree. And then he's like, check this game out. And it looks like it could be really interesting. And I watched it and I was like, yeah, maybe. But in the back of my head, I'm just sitting there thinking, this is going to be one of those, it's garbage or it plays bad or just something about it. It's just going to tear it down. And I'm so glad to hear I'm wrong.
Watching some people play it for me to finally be sold on it. Because like the idea sounded good. It looked like it was going to be a gorgeous game, but just all in all, I guess it didn't quite hook me until I watched about 2 or 3 different streamers, and I stopped myself about an hour in because I didn't want the entire story spoiled for me. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'm going to stop watching them. I think I'm sold on this game now. I want to play it myself. I've heard a lot of comparisons to Hellblade. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it was because of just the way that the story was written and the emotion that it evokes as you're going through it. Because I don't believe it was the same studios. So I've heard that tossed around. As far as mechanics and everything go, I mean, maybe kind of with the way the targeting system kind of works, but or just a really strong female protagonist and written well.
Could be.
But definitely, I mean, I encourage it, man.
That's still another game I haven't played is Hellblade. So
oh my God, such a great game.
I know.
Oh, you
everybody
gotta
tells
play
me.
that game.
Everybody
It is
tells
so
me.
good.
So, what I've been playing.
Yes.
Thank you for asking. I'm pretty sure I probably picked up Mortal Kombat at some point and just kind of. I hate to say I'm over it because it just came out, but I'm just kind of in this. What am I going to do?
DLC will strike your fancy again.
Yeah, because I think that's where I'm at right now. The DLC's got to come out, and then I'll come back to it and get into it. So I hate that, but it's just how it is. But I played Overcooked. Like Katrina and I actually played it together because I wanted to see.
So much more fun that way, right?
But it's still hard. It's like you still feel like you need another person. It's like, God, come on. Because
4 is probably ideal. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we tried coming up with plans. We tried coming up with strategies. It's like, you focus here, I'll focus here. And no matter what, we would always wind up chaotically saying, well, you're not doing it. We would just kind of step on each other's toes, not meaning to.
Yeah.
But it would just be, they're focused here and something needs to be done. I'm not doing anything. I guess I'll go do that. And I don't know. It was just like, damn it, come on. But I
remember the Hubs and I got through it, but yeah, there was a lot of like starting little fights and stuff where I'm like, you were supposed to do the dishes, and then why are we both on this side? I told you to stay by the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got, how many levels in, maybe? 10, 12?
I think so. I know the last level we were on and we stopped was because rats started stealing the freaking food. And we didn't realize they were going to. And I set out everything. And then, all of a sudden a rat was running off with it. I was like, what the crap is happening?
I feel like you can steal it back from the rat.
That's what I was kind of wondering.
Listen to you say that out loud.
I could not get to them in time.
Yeah. So, that was fun but frustrating. It was just like, I want to have fun with it. I feel like I could have fun with it, but it just got like what was it? The one with the trucks. Oh my God! Yeah, cooking on 2
where you're
trucks.
Driving side by side.
It wasn't until the ass end that she started throwing stuff on the floor.
I started throwing the food on the floor.
Like, well, there was a strategy we should have thought about, but I didn't know. We didn't know. So.
I think I came across that by complete accident by actually trying to set it down on a counter, but I must not have been close enough to the counter, and then she threw it, and I went, oh. Ow! So, yeah, that's what we started doing. It was just tossing at the stuff back and forth,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah, so it was fun, I suppose. And then I feel like the reason I've gotten back into playing this game, because I know I mentioned I was kind of dabbling in it last week. I really got back into Godzilla again, and I really feel like it has something to do with the movie coming up. I'm so ready, and I just need my fix. I'm just itching for it. So I'm playing the game. I'm just like, you know what? I can still platinum this game. It may take forever, but, I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it. So I'm having fun with that still, just playing around with it. So there's that. And then I also played, I just decided I'm going to play through this, see where I go. What Remains of Edith Finch. Oh my God.
Oh my
This
God.
game is amazing.
Yeah.
I felt bad that I never bought this game because I would throw money at the developers right now for it.
I'm sure they won't mind if you want to go back and buy it.
Because when it first started, I thought, oh, this is going to be like a walking simulator, and then the story will just kind of play out, and it just kind of be like every other game like it. No, absolutely not. The twist they put into it, the little things that they add to it for each character's story that you get into, that's what made me love this game. Because not everything was the same. It's not like you went to someone's story, because if you know the purpose of the game is you're this girl named Edith Finch, and she's looking into her family history. Have you played it, by the way?
I have.
Okay. But for those who haven't, you go through your family house, you learn about all these, relatives of yours, and they all have some tragic backstory of some kind. But how they're presented, that's what made this so great. Not one story was just, well, this is the same as that person, or it plays the same as this person. Each one, they take a twist on it. They do something really bizarre and wild with it, and then just, that's their story. And some of them are just so simple. Like there was one, which I won't go into great detail, but all it was just swinging on a swing. That was the entire point of that chapter, and that was it. That's all you had to do. So I liked it. I really recommend it. If you've got PlayStation Plus right now, get it for free. It's amazing. Katrina was sitting there on the phone watching when I was playing it, because I was just killing time. I thought I'll kill some time, while we're just kind of I don't even remember while I was trying to kill time, but she was on the phone. I thought, I'll play this game, and she was sitting there when I think in the very first chapter, and then she just starts, what is going on here? Because the little girl, I think she starts as a cat. This slight spoilers, but this is part of the story. But she's imagining herself as a cat, and then she turns into a bird or an owl, I think, to be more specific, and then turns into a shark.
Yeah, and that's where I started watching, because I just saw this owl on a tree branch eating a freaking rabbit, and then all of a sudden she turns into a shark and starts rolling down a fucking mountain. And I was just like, what the crap is happening?
Yeah.
And then my sister was totally doing commentary when the octopus came into play.
Oh, yeah. So we won't go into great spoilers or anything like that, but enough that she watched to say, what is going on here, and got into it.
Yeah, I actually got off the phone with my sister so I could continue watching.
Yeah. And I played it through from the moment I started to the moment I ended, and it was probably about an hour or two, maybe. It really wasn't that long, so I mean, it's a quick play.
Really long game. Yeah.
But it's engaging enough that you will sit through the entire game. I didn't want to put it down. I wanted to see where it went. And considering it's not an 8-hour game or anything like that, it's well worth carve out at least 2 hours.
That's the one that has VR support now too, right?
Does it?
I think so. I don't know if it's on PlayStation or not, but I'm pretty sure.
That would be amazing. VR support.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I could do that.
I would do it. I'm curious now.
It is. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, maybe not.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of which one that I saw the other day that. Oh well.
Nah.
Disregard.
Okay. Fair enough. But still, great game. Recommend it. Before we get into the news, I wanted to mention a little update to something we talked about last week. Lace, if you recall, we mentioned something about, what was it, controllers for the blind. You know? And we were just kind of like, how does that work? We didn't know blind gamers played games, you know? It's not something I was aware of. Well, our friend Warwick, who,
I did see that, yeah.
He tweeted on our Super Mega Crash at Gmail, or, at Super Mega Crash on Twitter. If you want to hit us up too, you can, as we always say. But he hit us up on there, and he said he saw a blind streamer beat Ocarina of Time recently, and there's apparently a new audience growing for sure. So he sent me a link to this kid who was blind playing the Legend or the Ocarina of Time, and it's just like, wow, pretty amazing. I didn't realize it could be done. Yeah, he did a
really nice job. I watched most of that video.
So check that out. The link I think is there on the Twitter. So go find the tweet. Go to our Twitter account and find this stuff, and click stuff. You know how to.
Yeah, it was really interesting how the kid had it all set up by like sounds and things like that to know which way to go and how he knew how to climb the wall and stuff like that. I mean, shoot, I'm staring at the game and I'll get lost. You know what I mean? Like it was really impressive. I need a map.
Yeah,
I don't know where I'm going ever in games.
So thank you for Warwick to telling us that.
That was really cool
because we were curious. I didn't realize. I didn't know. So awesome. Thank you so much. All right, let's talk about some news real quick because we got a little bit. We don't have a lot. I think we've got more quiggets than we do news topics. But hell froze over this last week because Sony and Microsoft announced a partnership that is said to combine their forces in an attempt to develop new cloud-based solutions in Microsoft Azure to support their games and services, as well as exploring collaborations in the field of AI and semiconductors. What does this mean? Well, it isn't necessarily gaming related, as this agreement focuses on a development in technology across all their products, gamings, and anything entertainment based. So TVs, computers, blah, 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 blah. And plus Sony, if you didn't know, Sony themselves have actually been doing business with Microsoft in certain areas already. And then there are competing spaces like PlayStation and the Xbox. So this isn't really groundbreaking per se, but it still is really cool that they are teaming up on something that can benefit both the PlayStation and the Xbox, along with other things that they have going on in their technology.
Their powers combined.
So I think it's really cool. I'd love to see where they go with this, deal, what they can come up with. So we'll see. When they announce new,
keep your eye on it.
Technologies, we'll let you know. The next story I have, I felt like I almost debated putting this in weird news, but I kind of feel like weird news is where we kind of get jokey and everything like this. And I really don't feel like this is a joke. I feel like this is a serious situation. It's rather disturbing, and I would have never guessed this was going on. But on some level, it makes sense. There was an article published by Kotaku that revealed the process of achieving lifelike gore and brutality found in recent Mortal Kombat games actually gave one of the developers, if not more than the one they spoke to, PTSD. And you may be wondering why or how. Well, according to the dev, research for the developers would include actual crime scene photos with murdered bodies, gruesome, pictures and whatnot that they have to look at and study, videos of animal slaughter and torture, just stuff like that, to really get an idea and a sense of how that works to portray some form of reality to it. And he said eventually he became so desensitized to it all, but then it crept into his sleep. So he started dreaming these extremely violent and graphic images, and that's all he
Sure.
would see. So he went into therapy. He's been trying to cope with it, but he's mentioned that he's had coworkers who have mentioned, their trauma behind it, where they look at their dog and they don't see their dog. They see all the entrails of their dog, and just
Oh man.
what it does,
Yeah.
like how it changes your perception of things.
Sure.
So it was just an interesting article, I guess, understanding that process. And I'll be honest with you, if that's the links that these people have to endure to achieve that, I'd rather not have the games,
Right.
because that's not right.
No.
No.
That's
not. Yeah. And I mean, you would almost kind of think that inevitably would have to happen if you're. It's almost like a Clockwork Orange, right? You're just stuck in front of the screen, being forced to watch this thing. Wow.
But I mean, I would
have never even thought about that would have to be part of the research.
Well, I guess I was just kind of under the assumption they would study anatomy like a health class. It's like, here's the human body. If you're going to cut this or stab that, this is what's going to happen.
Sure.
I never thought about crime scene photos
Yeah.
or animal slaughter or anything. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe because the way everything gets splayed out,
I guess.
when you're looking at something nefarious.
Yeah. So it makes me. It really hurts my heart.
I'd rather
for those
them
people,
not have to go through that. Yeah.
because they shouldn't have to endure that. So good luck to you guys out there. I know that's rough. I couldn't do it. The last little thing I have here is Nintendo presented Super Mario Maker 2 to the world in the new Nintendo Direct. They announced new themes, new characters like Luigi, Toadette, and Toad. Apparently there's going to be a 3D style construction for the game, a story mode, which, okay, I don't know how you do that for Mario Maker. There will be online multiplayer with co-op and verse options. Cool. Course World, which will be like an online hub where players can share their creations and earn maker points when other players like their course.
Okay.
So, yay. I know
There you go.
I know there's people out there who are excited for this game. I know Trey.
Oh, for sure.
From the Tap stream,
yeah.
I know he's excited for it. So, I've never played it. I don't know if I'd get into it.
Yeah.
But then again, who knows? It could be one of those things that once I'm actually set in front of it and I could actually do it, I might get into it. I don't know. I really don't.
I don't think I would.
I'd like to feel
I
like
watched
I'm.
enough of them.
Yeah,
It's just I'm not the market for it.
sure.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Not everything has to be.
No. All right, let's go through some quickets. So, I don't feel like this is a big shocker. EA reported that Anthem has failed to meet its expectations.
I thought we've already discussed that.
Well, they've formally announced it now. It's not.
okay.
It's failed to meet their expectations. However, on the opposite side of that, EA has stated that it expects Jedi Fallen Order to sell a lot of copies. A lot.
I bet it does expect that to happen.
That was an actual quote. A lot of copies. They didn't say
That-
how
is
many.
Just a lot.
Just a lot of copies. And the game's director feels very confident about the quality of the game. It looks good. Battlefront 2 looked really good too. And then we got our hands on it. Just saying.
Like I said, I'll just keep my fingers crossed for all you Star Wars fans out there. You deserve it, man.
Yeah, it's a
Deserve a
long
good
time
game.
coming. Microsoft unveiled Minecraft Earth, which is an AR mobile game in the vein of Pokemon Go.
Oh, good Lord.
I read very little about that the other day. Very little.
So it's kind of, from what I gathered, is you can see Minecraft, the world of Minecraft through your phone, and the world around you through the AR will become Minecrafty, and you can...
So, in other words, it's just going to be one more thing that distracts children.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
I
adults.
mean, at least with... Well, sadly,
Trust me,
at
I
least
saw
with
enough
Pokemon,
adults walking into traffic trying to catch a Pokemon, all right?
Right? That's what I was going to say. It's more adults with Pokemon than it was kids.
Well, because they don't... The parents are not going to allow their children to walk out into traffic, but they will.
Yeah.
It's like, let me go get it. It's unsafe for you.
If they see
Hey.
where their kid's wandering off while they're catching their Pokemon.
What else I got? Oh, apparently, because we were talking about this last week, so I got it confirmed. Apparently, Monster Hunter World Iceborne does have a $50 price tag to it.
Bull
50?
crap.
$50. But I feel like this is why. It is said to be as big as the base game. So it's like getting a sequel.
Okay.
So with that, I can be a bit more forgiving. It's not just another...
I might have to see it all first
Well,
then.
Yeah. But if it's as big as... I mean, if you're getting a world that's just not just another map or another area, then I'd be a little upset. But if this is as big as the entire game itself,
Right.
okay. You've got me. That you're selling me a sequel, essentially, with all my gear.
My question is with it I mean, obviously we're going to have new monsters, but are they going to bring back some of the old monsters?
Well, they did say that some previous monsters from other games, like the Nargacuga, which I think was in...
I know you told me the Nargacuga.
I know he was mentioned, and then, of course, there's a few other new monsters, but beyond that, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to keep it under wraps for right now to kind of get you enticed.
I guess I just feel like if you're going to basically buy this extra world for it, it better be worth it with monsters. Like, don't just give me a few monsters and, us blow through it like that. But...
Well, I do know that they did say you have to be at a certain hunter rank before you get this far. So I'm assuming you have to have beaten the base game and gotten your hunter rank to whatever.
Well,
Sure.
I guess I need to beat the base game.
Yeah. Because I feel like, again, don't quote me on this. I feel like I remember reading you had to be at HR 30.
Oh, good Lord.
I think.
Oh, dude, I'm probably like 12 still. I can't remember the last time I picked it back up.
But I mean,
I
once
don't
you
even know what I am.
yeah, but once you beat the base game, your levels go up pretty quick. For a little while. So you just have to kind of breeze through a few monsters and then. Because I know I was up there a little ways. I know I'm above 30. But again, I could be wrong. I feel like I read that. I'm trying to pull that from my memory, but I can't remember.
Well, it would make sense if it's like an extension of the game that they're, because I mean, you'll have the people that are higher rank that'll want a challenge, that'll need a challenge. Why am I spending money on this game if I can just blow through it like the earlier levels? So that would make sense. It's like an MMO.
Yeah.
When they add levels and they raise the level cap. You probably can't do that new stuff until you've already reached max level in the game anyway.
So
Well,
I mean,
was a lot in the game like that
Makes sense.
anyway.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'll plop down the money for it. Maybe at some point, because I mean, I would like to go back and play it. I mean, it was fun, but I just kind of got to get back in the rhythm of it. The rhythm of the night.
Well, good.
Sorry.
You can get back in the rhythm of it by helping me beat it.
Well, you got to tell me when you want to play.
I know.
You never want to play games with me anymore.
Oh,
Gosh.
you shut up.
While we're talking about Capcom, they expressed interest in a sequel to DMC, The Devil May Cry, which didn't we just the 5? Apparently, the other game, the DMC, which everyone was considering Devil May Cry 4, which it's not, is an alternate reality. I'm so confused because we just had 5, and then that guy was in it. But then they're saying, but we want a sequel to that one. But you just did 5. I don't know. My head's hurting.
They just want to make money.
I don't know. I mean, it's an in the between game. That stuff that happened between 4 and 5.
Sure. That's what you want to say?
So a filler?
Sound
Yeah. The Epic Game Store is running a sale from now until June 13th featuring discounts up to 75% off. Plus, Epic is taking an additional $10 off any game purchase of $14.99 and up. Now, I know it sounds like we're promoting something here, but we're not, no sponsors or anything like that. It's just, everybody's been...
This is the first time they've done a sale like this,
this
right?
is
Steam does them.
Yeah, so this is the very first Epic Games sale, and, it sounds like pretty good deals. In fact, You got suckered into one. Not saying you got suckered.
I
but
did. Everyone's going to at me on Twitter now. I just know it. But yes, I wanted John Wick Hex. They had it on the sale for the pre-order, so I bought it for $7.99.
See, look at that. Brand new game. It's not even out yet, and she got it for $7.99.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, there was some games pulling away from that sale, though. I started to read later on.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Couple of, it seems like some of them, I think it was like for pre-order titles, mostly like Vampire the Masquerade, the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people got in on it on like the first day, but then they pulled it. So if you already bought it at that sale, Epic said they're going to honor it. Mm-hmm. But I should have.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it on there because I didn't really shop that hard, on there. So I'm like, I still try to be responsible. But yeah, it seemed like a few of them, looks like some larger publishers just kind of pulled out of that sale. Now they're supposed to go back on the store or whatever, but I guess some players was like, hey, let me go check this one out. And then it said error code 404. And we're like, what? Where'd the game go?
Yeah. But
So I would imagine it wasn't pulled forever. It's just maybe certain publishers were like, we don't want to sell our game for $5,
Yeah,
right now.
I mean, for a brand new game, that's understandable. I mean, you're lucky you even got that one because, pre-order. I wouldn't have imagined would be in on the sale, so I get it.
Right.
I get it.
They just pretty much blanketed it across, I think, the whole thing. And I know there was some grumbling, too, because, like, when you start doing different prices in different countries, because maybe here in the States it's $14.99, but then for you somewhere else it actually boils down to $14.89 and it's not eligible,
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, the way the currency works across the board, so I don't know how that works with other countries or whatever, but yeah, so I guess if some of them you were looking forward to getting in on that pre-order thing, if you were one of the lucky ones to get it on day one, GG. Mm-hmm. Everyone else has to pay full price, which I don't grumble about.
It's fine.
I mean,
whatever. While speaking of Epic, release dates for 2 of the hotly anticipated Quantic Dream titles dropped, with Heavy Rain releasing on June 24th and Beyond Two Souls on July 22nd, both priced at $19.99. And it is said that Detroit Become Human will release sometime in the fall for $39.99. So there you go. If you were looking forward to that,
the one was $10 because I did just kind of look. I thought, or was that not part of the sale? I could have sworn like the Heavy Rain was $9.99 or something with the sale going on.
Could have been. You have to go back and look.
Because of course I went and I peeked because I didn't want to do it. I was like, I can't sit here and just buy all.
No,
things.
don't do that. You get sucked into the void.
I wanted to, because like After Party was one where I was like, ooh, I should get it now. It'll only be $10, And then I just like talked myself out of it because I could have sat there forever. Yeah, it looks like the sale's not. Yeah, okay, never mind. You're right.
Also, maybe
it was that day.
Yeah. Also, while we're talking about Epic, the crowd-funded indie game, the Outer Wilds has cut a time.
Not to be confused with Outer Worlds.
Yes,
yeah.
I think that's where when I looked at it, I was like, what? Yeah, I got confused. But
I had to do a double take.
You know what? It's the same problem there too. But we'll get into that. We won't get into that anyway. The Outer Wilds has cut a timed exclusivity deal with the Epic Store, despite having offered the game on PC via Steam during their Kickstarter campaign. So that's kind of it's not a Kickstarter campaign. They went through some crowd-funded campaign.
It was crowd-funded, yes. With the and to my digging, it would appear that I feel like with a lot of them, like they always say, a Steam key will be provided, and maybe that's just your natural verbiage because that's where you always went for your games.
Sure.
But I feel like when you crowd-fund it, you can't limit people to where they get it. Or at least the ones that crowdfunded, I don't know.
But there should be an offer like they do. I mean, like when I jumped into, what was it, Friday the 13th, when that was in crowdfunding, when it was on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
They gave you the option. It was like, if you buy the game, this is where you can get the platform. If you take a look at, why is my brain going stupid? Evergate.
Oh, yeah.
It's PC only. But, I mean, they tell you that.
For now.
Yeah, they tell you that.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to get on platforms, but that's where they are. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you offered Steam, you should be giving Steam, you know.
Yeah.
If Epic was not there, I feel like this is kind of it's a middle finger.
Well, I mean, I feel like the game was probably before this whole thing, because Epic's not been around with their store for quite a year yet, right?
No.
Like, it's
not
few
been a
months
year.
at best,
Yeah.
4 or 5. So, yeah, I feel like that's kind of shady. Like, even if you started the sale on Steam and then pulled it from that, like, just sit in your bed. You know, like, this is how it is now.
Yeah, I'm not.
And I just wanted to correct that it is $10 right now with the Epic sale for Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls.
There you go.
Pre-purchase $19.99, but with the Epic discount, you can get it for $10.
Go get it now. Go get it now.
I like Quantic Dream, so I want you to buy the game.
So yeah, it's I don't know. The more and more this exclusivity stuff continues to happen, it's really starting to get. I don't know. I don't want to think it's shady business, but it's really starting to look like that.
Like, I understand how it's enticing.
It is, yeah.
But it's just interesting to me. Like, if you remember, we were talking about the Epic Store before it became a thing, right? When they were announcing that it was coming out and what the shares were going to be per, you know, what Epic takes, what the developers get to take. And we were asking indie devs. Mm-hmm. I remember asking them what they thought about it, you know, and they seem to be the only ones. And granted, the small focus group of people, you know, that we were talking to was more nay at this time.
Yeah.
But we're seeing AAA taking huge advantage of it, which is what was interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're making their money regardless. So if it comes back to the players, all right, if you want to sell it for $10 less or something like that. But, yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird. Because, you know, they're just throwing money at these companies so they can get the exclusivity for a while. And eventually I feel like that well's going to run dry.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know?
We'll continue to watch and see what, because I feel like at one point something's going to come through. Something's going to blow up and it's going to expose everything. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
The devs for Rage 2 said that they want to start Rage 3 ASAP. Kind of seems. I mean, the game.
Has it done that well? I mean, I know people were excited for it.
I've heard nothing but kind of bad reviews. So maybe like, we got to scrub it now. Just go ahead and make the third one and it'll be better and people forget this one. So.
It wasn't a game that was marketed for me, for sure.
No.
I'm not like a huge where shooting is the only element in the game that keeps my interest. I know some people, they were like, yeah, it's fun, but then they already needed a break after a couple hours. They're like, yeah, I don't feel like playing this anymore for right now. So I guess it's one of those in small doses. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's not a game for me. Nothing about it screamed, oh, I got to play this. I was just like,
It looks great.
Yeah, but
I'll give it that.
But most games do nowadays, so it's just kind of, what does that mean anymore?
I always try to look at the positive.
I know. The developers for Dying Light 2 said that the game features several, this is a quote, several games worth of content. So how do you interpret that exactly?
So long?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Kind of what I gathered. The developers behind Wolfenstein, or the Wolfenstein reboot. I was struggling with that word. They expressed interest in rebooting another game, Quake. Does anybody remember Quake?
I do.
Nope.
Very vaguely, because I never played it, but I know the game.
Yeah. I felt like it was when Doom was popular and we had what Doom was. And then Quake comes around and is like, look at the 3D graphics. Look at it. Oh, and that was its hook. And then, of course, they had, I don't know if anyone remembers this or not, but the music for the original Quake was composed by Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails. And if you actually looked,
I actually didn't know that.
If you looked at some of the weapons, like there was a nail gun in the game. And if you looked at the box that was the ammo for the nail guns, it said NIN on it, like had their logo, which I thought was kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
So there's a little trivia for you if you didn't know.
Yeah.
But I remember being amazed by it at the time because, again, 3D graphics, having seen what Doom was at the time. But I couldn't tell you anything about the game. Like, I don't remember. Doom you remember because it's like demons in space. Cool. What is Quake?
Yeah.
I don't really remember. I don't
know
remember. I remember things about it, and that's about it. It was cool at the time, but what else I got? Ubisoft is apparently working on three unannounced games. Does anyone want to take a guess as to what these unannounced games are?
Well, one of them's got to be Assassin's Creed, right?
Yeah.
Of some sort.
I assume
a variation.
Assassin's Creed, another Far Cry game, and then maybe some rabid shite or something.
Rabid shite.
Since I don't know, I mean, what else do they have? It's always Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and some Rabbids game. Oh, they did of course, the Division just recently.
I know what you're saying now.
Yeah.
I heard something else. I mean, it could be another Just Dance.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they shove those
That's
out
true.
every year, too.
Okay, there you go. Just Dance. I'm sorry.
Now it's VR Just Dance, maybe. I don't know. That would be cool.
Just Dance Rabbids Edition. They haven't done that. There you go.
There you
And
go.
we just combined two things.
I would play that.
Yeah.
I would play that.
You have to dance like the rabbit, okay? So there's no real good dancing. You have to just throw your arms around and go, blah, blah, blah. That would be hilarious.
And good times will be had by all.
Yeah. It's for the players who can't dance.
So most of them?
Yeah. So it makes you feel better about yourself.
Maybe it'll be Just Dance Fortnite edition.
Oh, yeah.
And then everyone can sue each other.
That's right. I love it.
It'll be Epic's turn to sue. You stole my dance.
That's a mini game, the lawsuit.
Right.
One thing that Ubisoft apparently is not working on is Skull and Bones, which was a game that they announced several years ago because it's been delayed again.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it's just been. I keep forgetting about it now at this point.
I mean, it's what was it? Kind of compared to Sea of Thieves because Microsoft
They
did
were
that.
announced about the same time. Yeah.
So everyone was like, "Oh, pirates," and it's like, "Oh, pirates." But Skull and Bones always kind of caught my eye a little bit more than Sea of Thieves. But
well, it looked like a more realistic version of it because wasn't it based around like the Black Flag?
Yeah, something like that.
You know, pirate version of the game or whatever. So it looked real slick, but yeah, I totally forgot about it.
Well, it's been delayed again, so you're going to forget about it even more.
All right, well. Again, this is why I say stop talking about your games so dang early, man.
Hey, I don't know if you heard this or not, but your future ex-husband, Bruce Campbell, said that there's a new Evil Dead game coming soon.
How did I miss this?
I don't know, but
Where am I living anymore?
But he said this.
I'm sorry I failed you, Bruce.
He said it. I don't know what he means by it. He just said that there's a new Evil Dead game coming soon.
Well, as you already know, if it's Bruce Campbell approved, I'll throw my freaking money at it.
But I'm sure, I don't know how.
I support you, ex-husbando.
I'm sure he pointed out as well that he is not going to be in the game. There's no Ash Williams because, he's done. He's done with that. But there will be a game of some sort.
Riot.
I feel like it should be a VR game. That's just me.
That would be cool.
I think so.
Ooh, from the Deadites' perspective.
Yeah, I want to do that.
You get to be the Deadite?
Yeah,
hell yeah.
I'd
probably
so
get
motion
sick.
It wouldn't even be funny.
I could only play it in small doses until my VR legs came in, but it'd still be cool.
Yeah. Speaking of VR games, there's the AMC's The Walking Dead announced a VR game coming soon.
I did see that.
I guess that would be cool, maybe. It's AMC's The Walking Dead. That's why I'm kind of like,
Well, they have to because there's so many different people who own a different version of it. So
I think that's why I'm just kind of like, because it's their version.
That's why it was Overkill's Walking Dead. AMC's Walking Dead.
But if you recall, AMC's The Walking Dead did that Merle and
did they do
Daryl?
that one?
Yeah, because those are their characters. They did that game. And
that's true.
That
was
terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of faith in it. But hey,
It's
it could be.
understandable.
I'm sure. You know what? Todd's out there right now going, "I cannot wait."
Of course.
Right, yeah.
So.
And then that's when we say it's not coming to PlayStation.
And he's like, "You shut your mouth." Okay.
I would almost buy it to spite him, man. Be like, look what I get to play today as a slide on my Rift headset.
And then it's terrible, and you're like, "Why did I do this to myself?"
Right. I'd be like, just to play a joke on Todd, this was awful.
Netflix is heading to E3 this year to
Yes.
have some game announcements, like Stranger Things.
Well, I mean, they've been doing the interactive series stuff, so I am a little curious
Have you?
if they're gonna.
Did you do the what was it, the Bandersnatch? Did you do that?
I did.
What did
did.
you think of it? Because I haven't.
I thought
we
it
haven't
was
done.
very well
No, we
done.
haven't.
I thought it was very well done. And if you're not a fan of Black Mirror, which is what it's based off of, I don't think that is a hindrance, really, because like I had seen some episodes of Black Mirror, and if you're not familiar with Black Mirror, they're really all just like standalone kind of sci-fi-y kind of episodes, kind of like the Twilight Zone. Like you don't have to watch them consecutively. It's like here's an episode, so on and so forth. So this is in that same vein. I thought the writing was well done. They got phenomenal actors for it. And there's a nice little nod at the end towards Netflix and the gaming thing. If you choose the right decision at the end, that very, very well done. That's like, it's not quite flows with the way the rest of the story went, but the way that they incorporated it in was freaking hilarious, and I recommend it. And I like how they did it too, because if you're like me, you want to see all the different decisions, you want to see all the different videos that were filmed with it. They make it very easy, because once you've gone through it once, it'll tell you, do you want to just go back to here? Which is where if you made a different decision, things will go different. So you don't have to sit there and play the entire thing again.
Gotcha.
I recommend it.
Okay.
Even if you're not a gamer, I think the story was really good.
Well,
A lot of fun. Very, very weird.
Black Mirror is something that we have yet to jump on the bandwagon for. And I've heard a lot of people talk
It's
about
fine.
it, and I do want to check it out. We've not gotten there. You know,
There's some good episodes and there's some that aren't. So, it's like with anything. Like I said, they're all standalone. So just read a description. Which one sounds interesting to you? Start there.
Okay.
You don't need anything to lead you up.
Sure.
The
last thing I have is that it is in production. The brand new Mortal Kombat reboot, I guess it is beginning production this year in Australia with a 2021 release date set.
Movie?
Yep, a brand new movie with, I think James Wan is producing, so it's got a little pedigree behind it
Okay.
because he did, Aquaman and Saw and
Okay.
all those things.
Oh. Did you just because you said that, just as a side, did you see where Chris Rock is wanting to reboot the Saw series?
Yeah, we did. It's just,
Yes.
what is that about?
I
It's
don't
about
know.
money. What else would it be about?
But I mean,
I
of all
guess he pitched a decent enough idea. I mean, I'd be interested to see. I don't
But-
know. Like, I gave up on the Saw series after the second one. I think I watched the first one, terrified me. Second one was okay. Third one, I stopped halfway through and didn't even finish.
I mean,
So I have no idea what happened after that.
I went through them all, but it wasn't a situation of like, I have to see the Saw movie right now. It was like, when the first one came out, I was curious. Then I had to jump onto the second one. Third one, same. I feel like we may have gone to see the fourth one in theaters, maybe, or maybe not. I don't remember.
Yeah, I was.
I
done
know
with it
I
after that.
went
I don't
to
think
see
I saw
one
any
in
of them in the
theaters.
theater.
Maybe it was.
I don't think I
remember.
Maybe the second one I did. I don't know.
Anyway,
I feel like those are the type of movies I wait till
Saw
I get
4?
home.
Did we see Saw?
No, it would
No.
have not been me. I've
Okay.
never seen any of the Saw movies.
Well, I feel like I saw a Saw movie in theaters, at least one of them.
Okay.
And then from there, I just kind of, like, if it was accessible, I would be like, all right, I'll watch this. I'm still kind of invested in these characters, or sort of. I see where this goes. And I eventually watched them all. The only one I haven't seen was the newest one, Jigsaw, which, they
Yeah.
said that they were done, and then were like, no, we've got one more. And it's like, you just said this was the final chapter, you ass. This is... Point being, I'm
telling you,
who
man.
would have?
I don't know. I just feel like once it goes on for too long, like I don't know.
Well,
Maybe I just didn't care for the female lead the way it was going by the third one or whatever. I don't know.
I think what bugs me the most about the story at hand is, at what point do you connect Chris Rock and Saw? Like, where does
I'm
that
just
connection?
envisioning it that he had an idea for the movies and probably pitched it to the powers that be, and they liked his idea with whatever it is, redoing it, rebooting it, reimagining it, retelling it, whatever this iteration is going to be. I don't know if it's 100% confirmed though, but I feel like a lot of people are reporting it as it is confirmed.
If I could do a good,
So I don't know.
If I could do a good Chris Rock impression, I would do the pitch right now, but I don't feel like I could do it justice. So I'm gonna move on to truth or.
I mean, we'll just wait and see.
I'm gonna move on to truth or trash now.
All right.
I actually have 7 bits.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So this is a rumory week, Katrina. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just making sure you're paying attention over there.
I'm paying attention.
All right. So first one. Payday servers, for the game Payday, the servers will shut down this year.
For the original or the second one?
Just said Payday. It didn't say 2, so I'm just assuming the first.
Well, I thought that was already gone, to be fair.
But could be all together.
Then I'm going to say truth, because I didn't know anyone was still playing the first one anymore. So if it was still hanging on, then it would make sense.
I don't even know if I've ever heard of this.
You never heard of Payday?
Apparently not, because it's not ringing a bell.
Okay, well, just say truth or trash.
I'll say truth, because I have absolutely no input on it whatsoever.
Okay, that's fine. The next thing I have is Anthem will soon be free to play.
I'm like debating this in my head. I don't know enough about how like the game itself plays to know like I'm going to say true, because they might be losing enough money that they feel like if they get you in for free, they can charge you the microtransactions and make up for it. All the people that were returning the game.
Yeah, that's true. All you got to say is truth or trash. Just 2 words.
Well, then I'm going to go the other way and say trash.
All right. Fair enough.
Go. I was gonna say it's EA. They'll figure out a way to get their
Well,
money
maybe the next 5 you'll have
Okay.
input, because you
Maybe.
should know some of these things, or at least know what I'm talking about. The next thing is Melina, Kitana's sister in Mortal Kombat, will be released as a DLC character.
Was she on the same list as Bruce Campbell?
No, she was not.
Yeah.
I mean,
I always get these wrong because I don't really know any of these Mortal Kombat characters anyway.
No, that's fair. I mean,
Do we like her?
Well, there's
was she a big deal
she
back
was
in the day?
referenced. The reason this is kind of getting brought up. She was referenced in the game. Apparently, spoilers if you don't want to know, but I think she was kind of. This might have been touched on in 10 anyway. She was supposedly killed, and of course that pissed everybody off. They're like, "I love Melina, bring her back." So
she was in 10?
She was in 10.
I'm going to say truth.
Okay.
Sure, truth.
Okay.
That's only
I'm
because
sure
I've
it's
watched
wrong.
you play the new Mortal Kombat, and I know how the storyline is, so that's what I'm basing it off of.
I feel like
That's fair.
I feel like I got a sneeze coming on. That's what I feel like.
Look in the light.
It's gone. All right.
They say that helps. I don't know why.
Next thing. Rockstar will announce Bully 2 and GTA 6 at E3.
Trash.
What are you thinking?
Well, I know Grand Theft Auto is,
Yeah.
it's popular.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see the bully, but
Bully's pretty popular.
People have been wanting a bully
it is
too
popular,
for a long time.
but I guess I would like to see how
And supposedly they've been casting for it. So
So what do you think?
I'm going to go the opposite and say truth.
Okay. We'll see.
I just feel like both seems a little extravagant for Rockstar.
Well, we got another E3 reveal, maybe.
But I'm usually wrong, Katrina. So going against me is probably your best instinct.
I
get 'em
figure,
wrong
you know, I
more
figure if
often
we
than not.
cover both, you know, either way, we got a 50-50 shot. So
Someone's
Yeah,
got
yeah,
it, right?
Speaking of E3 as well, a new Conquer game will be announced at E3.
I want it so
does that
bad to
one?
be
Rare.
true, but
Rare.
Who?
And you know, what they've done over at Microsoft has been atrocious.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to see Conquer defiled in this manner, but
I'll say truth. Nothing's sacred anymore.
see, I want it to be true,
okay, then say true.
but
You don't have to go against her all the time.
it's not going against her. It's that, you know,
That's true.
it's-
By the odds, one of them I get correctly.
I'm going to say trash
Okay.
just because it's been so long.
Yeah.
And
But people love Conquer.
I know, but
Yep.
exactly. People love Conquer and they have yet to make another one. So
Because the company got taken over by Microsoft and they turned them into a
Yeah.
atrocious garbage factory. That's neither here nor there. Let me continue.
Right.
A sequel to Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle will be announced at E3. You remember that popular Switch game where Mario was fighting Rabbids?
no, I do not.
Kind of. But no, I'm gonna say trash. Aren't they working on the other thing too, like Mario Maker 2 or whatever?
Yeah, but Ubisoft
feel like that's a
Ubisoft
lot.
could be doing this one. You know? And that could be the other unannounced game. I told you it was some rabid shite.
I'm still saying it's Just Dance, but whatever.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with my answer. I'm gonna say trash.
Okay. What about you?
I'm going to say trash
Okay.
just because supposedly the Nintendo E3 list got leaked.
Okay. So you're cheating.
Yeah, I have it right here on my phone.
Why are you cheating? This is not how this works.
Well, I wanted to bring it
can't
up
cheat.
because I don't know if it's true or not.
Well, we don't know.
So,
That's the game. We're just guessing
Yeah.
and seeing if we get it right. But okay, so see, by the odds, I get one right.
Is there anything interesting on there since you've?
well, that's actually what I was going to bring up, you know, when you were finished with your
Okay.
truth
Well,
or
let
trash.
me get through this last one and then you can bring it up.
Okay.
The last one I've got, and this is a big one now. Episode 1 of Final Fantasy VII Remake will release in January of 2020.
Of which remake? Of which one?
The Final Fantasy
Final
VII
Fantasy
Remake.
7.
Because we got, the big reveal at the PlayStation State of
Yes.
Play.
Yeah.
It's going to be at E3.
I
Will
would
it-
hope it would
2021?
come
No.
out.
2020.
So next year.
Oh,
January 2020.
I don't know why that seems early.
See, to
I'm
me,
gonna
it
say
seems
truth.
too freaking far away because we heard they showed us
Well-
this game like 3 freaking years ago.
They did.
Well, that's why I feel like it's too early.
Because
We haven't been
watched the
talking about it
trailer
for 10 years yet, so it's not ready.
No,
Yeah.
no. Well,
I
need-
would hope that it would come out sooner.
But keep in mind now, they're doing this episodically. So all they have to do is release one half of the game.
Yeah.
That's true.
So if this is episode
Yeah, I'm just
1.
going to stay with that. I think I said truth, right? I'm going to stay with
Okay.
I mean, at least it's just one half of the game because, you know, I had the original. It was like 7 freaking discs.
No, it's 3. It's 3.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
whatever.
bought it for my brother. It's 3.
Why would you buy
Yeah,
it from
kids
your
back
brother?
in the day.
Yeah.
You had to
Regardless.
change the discs.
It wasn't just one freaking disc.
So disc 1
Yeah.
is what they're releasing.
Disc 1.
That'll be episode 1. Okay. So yeah, yay or nay? Come on.
I'll say truth.
Okay.
I want it to be sooner, but
All right. Well, what do you have over there that you're looking at?
okay. So apparently, the Nintendo E3 presentation was leaked, and it actually says on the paper that it's internal use only. But they have like the list of the developers when the games are supposed to be coming out, and then the games themselves. And they have Animal Crossing Island Paradise.
Well, what are you just going to go through the entire list? Or are you
I can't go through the
Well, I
entire
was going to say, touch on ones that sound interesting.
Okay, well, ones that sound interesting is... Well, first of all, they do have one
Animal
that
Crossing's a
kind of
big
caught
deal
me
to
off
people,
guard,
so.
and it's supposed to be by Epic Games. And the release date is to be determined.
What is it?
It is Animal Crossing Battle Royale. And they actually have another Super Smash Brothers on here.
See, no, that's got to be.
I feel like someone's screwing with us on that
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing
Well, see,
Battle Royale.
they have, yeah. They
from
have
Epic Games. Come on.
Yeah. They have The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time HD, Zelda 3 Link's Odyssey, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Metroid Prime 4, Astral
What is
Chain.
the release date for that?
For Metroid Prime
Yeah.
4 to be determined.
Damn.
By Retro Studios.
I feel like that's a bogus list. I'm going to call it now.
Yeah, because they have like 3 Legends of Zelda games on here.
Well,
And then
we
they
did
have, like,
kind of mention
3
something about
freaking
that.
Fortnites on here too.
No,
but they have
it's-
release dates for 2020, 2024, and 2031.
No, that's bull.
2031.
That's BS list.
2031.
Technology is going to be way different by then. We're going to be plugging the games into our heads at that point.
That list is trash. Okay, so I'm going to move on to weird news because that's terrible.
I'm going to laugh my ass off if Nintendo comes out with it.
You know what? If they do, then cool. But you heard it here first. That list is
And
trash.
then you hear, yeah, I was just going to say, then you heard it here first.
So I'm going to tell you a story first, and I want you to see if you agree with me about what the weird part is here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, despite universal praise upon its release, Apex Legends has seemingly let updates for their game fall by the wayside. Fans have been vocal about this, and last week, KFC Gaming decided they wanted to chime in on their Twitter by posting a meme of a character poking the Apex Legends logo with a stick saying, "Do something." Okay? So a developer from Respawn fired back to that tweet saying, "Dearest brand, we've got tons of stuff coming, but it takes a little time. We can't hyper fry or flash flambe or crunch inject or whatever it is you do to your tasty fried bird flesh. This gameplay is handcrafted using old world techniques. Eat some chicken and we'll see you soon." Now, while this was a hilarious roast by the developer,
But
the only thing I could wonder afterwards is why the hell does KFC have a gaming account?
you know, I only know about this one game, and I didn't know that they were actually like in a foray to this thing. I thought it was just like this one-off thing, so maybe they actually have a gaming thing. But they have a VR game called KFC The Hard Way. It's a free one that you could download on the Oculus store, and maybe it's
Wow.
for Vive or what else too. It's very short. It's like 15, 20 minutes long. It's hilarious. Like, you get locked in a room with a mechanical colonel, and he's telling you the secrets of the recipe, and you're forced to do the recipe and make the chicken before you can escape the room.
What the shit?
I saw it was free and downloaded it and played it, and it's actually, for one time through, it was funny. It was fun.
An additional weird news bit about that is why the hell is that Twitter account based in the UK and not Kentucky?
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I
that's...
mean, probably less expensive.
Ah.
I don't know.
All right. The next thing I have
Everything
here,
has a UK division, I have found. So.
All right. The next thing I have. All right. Scene. Okay. Scene. Have you ever been in a situation where you're settling in for a sure thing, only to have it blow up in your face in the worst way possible?
Every day.
Okay. There were some moviegoers where this was a reality for them because they went to go see Detective Pikachu. Okay. Now, this story was chronicled, by the way, by Screen Rant's Ryan George, who happened to be at attendance to this screening of Detective Pikachu. There was a theater full of Pokemon-crazed children. They were all excited to see Pikachu and all the other Pokemon, and the movie started, or at least the trailer started, and the kids got to see a trailer for Annabelle Comes Home, then The Joker, then Child's Play, and the kids are starting to be like, what the hell's going on here? And the parents are like, what's going on? And then, the movie starts, and it wasn't Pikachu they got to see, but they got to see about the first 20 minutes of The Curse of La Llorona, which is a new horror movie. And in that time span, these kids got to witness the killing of a child. So, that was memorable for them.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. How many lawsuits are we going to hear about
Yeah,
now?
that was my question, too. As of right now, or at least recording, or when I reported, there's no word of any impending lawsuits, but I'm sure they're coming. And hopefully the theater gave them some refunds, because once they found out about it, they shut the movie down and scuttled them off into another theater where the movie
I'm surprised it took 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think after the first Annabelle trailer, somebody
should
have been like,
as soon as that movie started, you think parents would have been like, this is not the movie.
Yeah.
Nope.
Just take your kids out and be like, let's go. Yeah. So, yeah.
See, I guess we wouldn't have been, I'm sure it'd have raised a red flag, obviously, but our kid doesn't really seem to be, traumatized by any horror movies or anything like that. Well, see, she actually thoroughly enjoys them. So.
Yeah. She's actually, I know there might be some listener out there who's like, she's watched me play Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
She's watched the fatalities and stuff like that. We've had discussions before. Like, I feel like, I can't remember what it was exactly, but we'd watched a scary movie one night.
Are you talking about the first Nightmare on Elm Street?
Was it that?
That was the first scary movie she ever watched?
No, this is
the worst.
No, this is recently.
Oh.
There was something that we watched. I can't remember what it was, but there was something about it. When I went to put her to bed, she was just like, I'm scared of this. Like something was going to come get her. And I had a quick conversation with her that night. I was like, look, honey, I said, movies are make-believe. I said, it's all pretend. It's not going to... And
Is it Hereditary?
I made sure... Huh?
Hereditary?
Was it that?
She watched that one with us.
Well, we didn't really let her... Full disclosure, we don't sit there and subject her to these movies.
No.
We don't kick her out of the room, but we don't say, like, watch this! Right. But I've made it clear to her, this is all pretend. This is all make-believe. None of this is real. None of this is happening. Don't be afraid. It's all pretend. So she seems to understand that. Like when she sees a fatality on Mortal Kombat, she's like, ew, yucky, that's gross. But she's not traumatized by it either. At least I hope not. Maybe I'm doing something to her that's going to give her PTSD.
20 years.
No, this child watched the first Friday the 13th, not Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Good Lord. And when Johnny Depp's character gets pulled down in the bed and blood just starts squirting up, she's probably like a year old or something like that.
Older than that, maybe.
And she just stood in front of the TV and was like laughing and carrying on like it was just the funniest thing ever. And like she knows Jason. And she
has a love-hate relationship with Jason. I've noticed, because she wants to see him, but then it's like, ooh, Jason's scary. And I'm like, but you asked to watch it. You asked to look at him.
She loves him playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But again, keep in mind, we do not subject her to
No.
this. She's just running around in the room and stops and watches. I wanted to make that very clear. We're not telling her to sit down and watch these movies.
No.
But I can't keep her out of the room the entire time either.
No.
So, just saying. Let's play a little game of
I'd buy that for $1.
sort of.
What do we get?
Well, you know, I mean, do either of you have nostalgic feelings about the Game Boy?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. What about its predecessor, the Game Boy Color?
I don't think I
Yes.
ever had one.
Okay.
I think mine was just good old green on black Game Boy.
That's fine. Now, what if you could have the Game Boy Color by your side once more, but in watch form? Huh? The officially licensed Game Boy Color watch has has functional buttons that you can press to set your time and set an alarm, because that's what watches do. And it actually, I know I'm probably not going to sell it well, it actually has less features than the original Game Boy watch that we talked about before some time ago.
Okay.
So it's a little cheaper. In fact, it has less features that the screen is ironically monochrome. So, you know, if you were looking for a color watch, you know, you're not going to get that. But with that in mind, how much would you pay for this Game Boy Color watch that is monochrome, is not color, but it's still a watch? It looks like a Game Boy Color.
So the watch
Well-
itself looks like a Game Boy Color, or like the screen?
Yeah, it looks
is
like a Game Boy Color that you have on your arm.
So, but it doesn't play the game.
But it doesn't play games. It just,
Yeah.
it looks like one, and it,
So it's no different than like all those novelty watches and crap they've come out with for years.
but it's officially licensed.
Well, if
Yes.
it's officially licensed,
I need
it's
to know
probably
that
gonna be expensive.
information because I've talked myself into believing it. It helps me
Yeah.
in debating the price, and it's never really worked in my favor yet. One, I don't. This just seems gaudy, but if you like it, you
Yeah.
know, more power to you. $29.99.
I'm gonna say 50.
Well, you're both getting a watch because it's $25.99.
Yeah, that's the closest I've been, I
Damn.
think, in a really long time.
That's really good. All right. If you want to go deal with her
See,
real
I didn't
quick.
go exorbitant price because it was officially licensed this time.
That's right.
I was like, it's licensed, $10,000.
All right. I'm going to do some release dates real quick. What do we have? May 21st is wow, it's a busy, busy day for games. We have Team Sonic Racing for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Vader Immortal, Episode 1 for PC on VR. We have Everybody's Golf VR for PlayStation VR. Observation for PlayStation 4 and PC. Fission Superstar X for Xbox One and PC. Slay the Spire for PlayStation 4. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered for the Nintendo Switch. Cities Skylines Campus DLC for PC. Altair Lulua Lulua Lulua. There we go. I
Sure.
found it.
Lalua,
Altair
yeah.
Lulua.
Sounds good.
The Scion of Arland for PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Dauntless for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. American Fugitive for PlayStation 4 and PC. Killing Floor Double Feature for PlayStation 4. Five Nights at Freddy VR Help Wanted for PC. Then we have the Resident Evil Origins Collection for the Nintendo Switch, which can be sold separately, or which are sold separately. So you can get a collection or you can get them all, whichever one you want. Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil, and Resident Evil 4 HD for the Nintendo Switch. Right. There you go. On May 22nd, we have, there's another word, Meridian. I nailed that. Meridian Tavern Story, Patty and the Hungry God for Xbox One, and Gunlord X for Nintendo Switch. Then on May 23rd, we have American Fugitive for Nintendo Switch. TT Isle of Man for Right on the Edge for Nintendo Switch, Wonder Boy Returns Remix for Nintendo Switch, Star Sky for the Nintendo Switch, Heroin Anthem Zero Episode 1 for the Nintendo Switch. All for the Nintendo Switch on May 23rd. Then finally on May 24th, we have Dollhouse for PlayStation 4, Sword Art Online Hollow Realization Deluxe Edition for Nintendo Switch, Super Tennis Blast for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, American Fugitive for Xbox One, and Skelly Cellist for Xbox One and Nintendo Switch. There's all the games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you excited about any of them?
I'm excited about the Sword Art Online.
I mean, there's plenty of that on the PlayStation.
It would be awesome if they made it VR because, you know, the whole premises of Sword Art Online, because it's based off an anime, is these people, you know, pretty much play a VR game and they get stuck in the VR world. So
That would be a great premise. Yeah. Let's get on that, guys.
So we'll see. Well, I'm excited to tell you that it's time to play Name That Game! We're all listening to music right now.
Yep. We're just dancing.
All right, I'm done. So, I've got, how many games do I have here? 1, 2... And hey, you know, Lace, this will be the first time you're actually playing with someone.
Right?
So, you know, you guys get to...
So I can actually lose to another individual instead. Instead of against myself.
Okay, now the first game, as I've said before, Katrina, I'll explain to you and anyone who may be new to listening how this works. I pull the description from the storefront in which the game came from, and then I'm going to explain it to you in the best way possible and try to keep it as accurate as possible, but I may omit any information that could easily give you the title of the game, but it's essentially the description as accurate as I can. If I can keep it the same, I will, but whatever. Now, this very first one here, there was some broken English, so I tried to keep it, I tried to help interpret it in some way, because I was looking at it and I was like, well, okay. So I did my best to try and interpret it properly to what the game actually is. So you do your, hopefully you'll follow along.
Understand, yeah.
Okay. In this game, you play as an elf in an open world human city where your main goal is to capture and train a variety of beetles to use for battles against other players. You also need to cultivate an array of flowers and plants for the beetles, which can be used for basic food or to be used in recipes for potions to help increase the beetle's strength. Nurture and grow your beetle through 3 stages of evolution, explore the city to challenge the big bosses, and become king of the beetles.
So you're an elf gathering beetles for battle.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So is this A, beetle elf, B, elf in the city, C, king of Beetle City, or D, Beetlemon?
I want it so bad to be frickin' Beetlemon because that was the first thing that popped into my mind.
Well, I was thinking that would be a nice little ripoff, I guess, right there. Collect your beetles.
I mean, it sounds like a whole ripoff. Do they throw the beetles at, during battle and say, beetle, blah, 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 I choose you?
Not to my knowledge.
I'm going to say A. I feel like we just got to go simple.
C. The king of Beetle City.
Okay. The answer is A, beetle elf. You did it.
Wow.
Good job.
Usually I get one, and that's it.
Oh, that was it.
There we go. I'm done now. I tap out. I got to stop while I'm on top.
All right, the next game. And I left some of the broken English in this one, too, so just follow along.
Oh, Lord.
In this game, you are astronaut stuck in space after an alien object almost destroyed your space station and you have no equipment to come back to Earth. What are you going to do in open space until boredom kill you? Why not play race, football, spaceball, survival, bomb and intestines? All played solo or with friends with lots of fun and wacky sound effect.
Okay.
Is this... I'm sorry. It was too funny not to just leave it that way.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Is it A, space sports, B, in space no one can hear you fart, C, astroturf, or D, fatty space?
Fatty?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go A again.
Very simple.
See, you say that, but all of these titles
Are terrible.
sound, freaking awful. I'm going to go with B because why not? It already sounds super childish.
The answer is D, fatty space.
That has
Fatty
nothing to
space.
do
I
with the
just can't
freaking
connect how
premises.
I know.
Yeah. I thought that was Steven's throwing this in here to throw me
Nope.
off.
Yeah.
All right. That's a terrible name for your
It
game.
is. It is.
Well, it sounds like a terrible game, so.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of... All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
This game is a story-driven point-and-click adventure game filled with absurd and strange comedy about a man who's not just a man, but a clam. Intriguing, isn't it? But
Not really.
to be more specific, this is the story of a man recently promoted to junior sales representative, enjoying the comforts and leisure of lower mid-level office work. However, things suddenly take a turn for the worst, and he is cast into an adventure full of danger, suspicion, and mystery. Join him as he unravels the conspiracy behind the tragic event that befalls him and fight to restore clammy justice to the world of Snacky Bay.
All right.
Is this
Clam Man. Final answer. No.
is this A, Chowderhead, B, the wacky world of Snacky Bay, C, Clam Man, or D, the clandestine tale of many pearls?
Oh, my God.
I'm going to stand by my answer. I'm going to go with C. I'm going to go with Clam Man. I'm probably wrong, but it just worked out too well. I can't back away from it now.
I'm going to say B.
Answer is Clam Man, C.
Damn.
I thought about omitting the man and clam thing
Yeah.
because I felt like it would give it away, but I felt like it was also... I wanted to see if I could throw you off, but clearly I didn't. So
So
Well,
we know now
I was
if Lace is playing
I honestly
against
thought I
somebody.
was saying it as a joke.
I mean, she's had 2 before. She's still got 3 more she can get wrong.
I don't think I've gotten to.
I feel like you did.
I think I've been one and done the whole time. I mean, we can
We'll
go
see.
back and
We'll
check,
see.
but I'm pretty sure it was always just one.
All right, it's fine. Next one. In this game, your goal is to help a group of innocent creatures avoid all deadly hazards and get back home safely. Explore a bright and fun world filled with challenging puzzles, centered on giving instructions to small creatures that can build, dig, and perform numerous activities that will allow them to survive dangerous elements such as guillotines and saws. Is this A, dumb little creatures, B, pint-sized pinheads, C, sweet freaks of tomfoolery, or D, mini mutant morons?
I'm not sure I fully understand the description.
Trying to get some innocent creatures back home while avoiding death.
Can you repeat the answers again? I'm sorry.
That's fine. A, dumb little creatures. B,
Okay.
pint-sized pinheads. C, sweet freaks of tomfoolery. Or D, mini mutant morons.
I want to go with D.
I kind of like them all. I feel like B is not it. I feel like it's too creative of a name. C,
Answer.
with no confidence behind it.
The answer is A, dumb little creatures.
Oh, well.
Oh, I almost did it in my head too. Knew better.
All right. The next game is a story of a stupidly named yet fearsome pirate with a heart of gold. She is the lover of tiny and adorable creatures and charged by the spirit of a dead buccaneer to investigate the mysterious disappearance of a fleet of birds known as spoonbeaks. Her adventure will bring her face to face with the nefarious Baron Widebeard as she uncovers corruption and wanton punning in the barony of Meath. Is this A, Millie Featherbottom, Freedom Wings, B, Nellie Coodalot, Spoonbeaks Ahoy, C, Sally Two Trees, Mad About Ned, or D, Goldie Finch and the Fleet of Widebeard?
So I feel like I've got it narrowed down to 2. I really like the 1. And then if I go against my instinct, I'm sometimes right. So I'm going to say D.
Okay.
And then he's going to say the other one I was thinking it was.
I'm going to say C.
Answer is B, Nellie Coodalot, Spoonbeaks
Damn
Ahoy.
it! In my head, I went B and D.
I'm going to throw this out here, and I'm not going to say anything right now, but if anyone can tell me what C is, or where that's kind of winking and nodding to, I'll give you a cookie. Because that was a...
What was it again?
In joke. Sally Two Trees, Mad About Ned. There's a little in joke there. But I'm not going to tell anybody right now.
I was thinking the TV show or whatever.
But if anyone knows, add us at Super Mega Crash. Because I'd applaud someone if they get it. The last game I have is... This game is about a slime, a bubble, and lots of blood. You must control your slime through a counterintuitive movement system while trying to get from the start of a level to its finish. Even doing a simple turn can be challenging. Also, beware of spikes. They are dangerous. Touch one and you die. Is this A, Blood is Red, B, Die and Start Over, C, Bubble and Slime, A Love Story, or D, Spikes Are Dangerous?
They're all freaking stupid.
I'm just going to go generic with D. Since it said don't touch a spike in the description, I'm just going to go generic here.
I'm going to say A.
Answer is D, Spikes Are Dangerous.
Damn.
Look at that.
I got 3
Three
today. I got to stop playing this game. There's no way I can get better.
Or you need to play with someone because
Yeah,
you did better
obviously.
with Katrina to
Maybe
bounce
that's
off
the
with.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. It is time for our big discussion for this week. Now, with the amount of movies based on video games that are out in the world, one would assume that the ratio of good to bad would lean toward the higher amount being good, with the worst being kind of the oldest and the best being the newest, kind of learning from past mistakes. Well, that hasn't happened at all. It seems that mistakes continue to be made and lessons are never learned. So, with the release of Detective Pikachu and critical praise being lavished upon it, in fact, fun fact for you all, it is the only video game-based movie certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. The only one. we thought, as a group, it would be fun to have a discussion about why this worked and maybe others didn't, even though I would personally argue that others have as well. Now, we are omitting in this discussion animated movies because, one, most are Pokemon movies from what I found, and two, most are really direct interpretations to the source material, and I kind of feel like that works easy. So we want to focus on live action adaptations, and that's what we really want to look at. So if we look to the past as something that we can kind of relate this to in some way, superhero films have had a bad run of things. When they first started. For decades, really all we had was Superman and Batman, and they were like the only two to have any success. But even then, It was like the first movie was really good, and then they all took a dive, and they all got worse. And then, funny enough, now they can't even do that right together. So, just saying.
It's too much
Don't at
going
me.
on.
I'm just saying. Now, soon... superhero movies, they found their footing. We had like X-Men kind of taken into this kind of semi-reality, and then everyone was like, well, we got to make it gritty and dark and all this other stuff. And then now, if you really look at it, especially I feel like more with Marvel movies, more than anything, they embrace their roots. They said, no, we're going to have direct comic book accurate costumes. We're going to have, storylines as accurate as we possibly can. They have embraced it. They don't shy away from it like they used to. X-Men, I guarantee you, when they show up in the Marvel universe, they're going to have comic accurate costumes. Guaranteed. So, anyway, what's it going to take here for video games to do this? Because seeing what we have with Detective Pikachu, from what we know of it, or at least I've never played the game. I don't know if any of you have.
Never played Detective Pikachu.
Never really did Pokemon. Yeah.
From what I've heard, the story is fairly accurate to the source material. Like they just lifted it. They made a few tweaks here and there just to kind of, for the sake of the movie. But it's accurate to that story. And that's what they built upon. And I guess one could argue that already having a narrative to kind of work off of gave them a benefit, but I feel like that even then they could have screwed that up.
Yeah.
Because look at the Pokemon, for example. They could have easily turned those into Sonic the Hedgehog, atrocious looking creatures where they were just like, he's a mouse, so he's got to look like a mouse. We got to make him look like a mouse. Just turn him into a mouse, make it yellow, and then he's little. So this is Detective Pikachu in my hand. They could have easily done that because somewhere in their logic brain, they're just like, this is what it needs to be. But they didn't. They said, no, make them what they are. Embrace what it is. Just enhance it. And I felt like that helped the presentation of it all. They could have, again, easily given us video game accurate Pokemon and then botched the story. But something about this worked on so many levels. So why? Why has no one gotten this right before now? I guess that's what I'm asking.
I feel like with Pokemon, they had a lot of source material to pull from, not just the video games, but obviously the cartoon and everything too. And especially with how they look and how they interact with people and even their sizes. Because all the Pokemon that are in the movie are, I guess you could say, like the correct size. Because even in the cartoons and then, of course, in the video games, they tell you like how big your Pokemon are and all that kind of stuff. It's always measured up to the person. So I feel like it helps it a lot because then you don't have like these super huge Pokemon when they're supposed to be small. Or even with Pikachu, he was always, he's big.
Yeah.
But he's not too big. And I don't know. I feel like it works.
Yeah. What about you, Lace? You got any input as to why you think it's working or not?
Why it's I don't really know much about like the director or anything like that. I feel like when we see some where the people were actually fans of the franchise, they seem to do it more justice. So maybe it was a case of the people involved in this, and maybe they just were really good about paying attention to what fans were saying about what they absolutely loved about the game and being able to implement that in a fun way. I mean, the reason why everyone loved Pikachu, he's so freaking cute, right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you try to translate that well? Because I mean, again, if he looked like how everyone's saying about Sonic and stuff right now, I don't think it would have gone, as well.
Yeah.
There would have been a huge Twitter. I love that Twitter is now our basis on how the entire world feels. But there would have been, a little outrage there on that. I think it's just probably paying attention to the source material, paying attention to what fans actually really enjoy about that franchise. And hopefully they were fans of the game so that they could manipulate it along the way to be entertaining.
And see, in kind of working off of that, what you said, knowing the source material, the worst offender, I'm going to go ahead and bring him up because I guess when it comes to bad video game movies, the first name that everyone remembers or thinks of is Uwe Boll. The man has directed more video game based movies than anybody, and he's not a good director. I mean, bar none, just not a good director. I went through his entire IMDb page. He has one movie that is regarded as his only good movie, and it had a score of 6.3. Everything else, low. Wow. We're talking 2, 3s, very low scores. No one likes his movies. His movies are garbage. Okay, and even if you go through his movies on Metacritic, they are at the bottom of the rung. Postal only has a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's the highest one. Okay? That's how bad his movies are. That's how people... And from what I hear, he has no idea about the source material. He doesn't understand the games. One of the worst implementations that I've heard about, and I didn't see the movie. I've seen bits and pieces, but I can't watch the movie. I just can't do it. The movie adaptation of House of the Dead apparently contains 32 clips from the video game implemented within the movie. Why would you do that? That's one of those things that irritates me more than anything. It irritated me about Doom when they went into first-person mode just to show somebody shooting. It's like, look, it's live-action Doom. I don't care. I don't care about that.
But I think it can be done well, and the reason why I say this is because look at Nathan Fillion's Uncharted fan film.
Yeah.
He did a nod to how you zoom in when you're about ready to shoot a character. And did it really well.
But...
So it can be done. But again, he's a fan of the series and probably understood that would be a fun little nod right there that probably only true fans, obviously, of playing the game would have caught and went, what, that was
But
good.
like you said,
that was good.
A nod. Because
once, yes,
because
a
we
nod.
were talking,
so it can be done. Just don't abuse.
Don't abuse it. Because I was talking to Katrina about this the other day after we saw Detective Pikachu about the nods.
Yeah,
about something like that. Because I felt like I don't remember seeing it in the game or the movie at all, but it wouldn't have if there would have been a camera shot where you saw maybe like a camera sweep going behind a Pokemon, and then the other Pokemon, like they were battling off. They kind of did something like they do in the Game Boy game. If it was just a camera sweep, just one little shot like that, it was like, you see that? It's like in the game.
Yeah.
If it was done right and paid homage to that, it wouldn't have made me mad. It wouldn't have been like, come on, guys. But when going back to Doom, there was a whole sequence dedicated to it, and it's like, God, come on. What is this about?
Right.
What is this? What are you doing? There was no benefit to that scene whatsoever. There were so many ways you could have done that, but I felt like that was a scene that was just, we're going to put in an entire sequence of just watching a shotgun shoot down some demons.
Yeah.
Why? Just give me the real action. I don't need this garbage. So there's that, and I know I'm trying to get frustrated about this. But anyway, I know Uwe Boll didn't do that, but he's been responsible. There was that. He did Alone in the Dark, which, from what I've heard, is his absolute worst.
Which was like the worst of the worst of the worst.
Did Blood Rain. I said Postal. I think that was about it. I think finally, eventually, they said, "Nah, we're gonna." There was one other one that was just surprising to me. There was one called "In the Name of the King," a dungeon siege tale.
Yeah.
I was really surprised that this was a failure, considering the talent that was in it. I looked this up. It had Jason Statham as the lead. Then you had actors like Lily Sobieski, John Rhys Davies, Ron Perlman, Claire Forlani, Matthew Lillard, Ray Liotta, and even Burt freaking Reynolds.
Wow.
And it was just
like, I feel like they maybe had to get that star power.
But this is I went and found a review to kind of get an understanding, because I've never seen it, but I was just like, how the hell was this a failure or a flop? It was described as a crude lump of plastic version of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, as an off-brand sword and sorcery epic that cuts so many corners it's probably a safety hazard. So It's apparently a very, very, very cheaply made crap movie. And it apparently even had an original runtime of over 3 hours before they...
Oh, dear God. So you couldn't even cauterize the bleeding.
No.
I feel
Let
like
me out.
I mean, obviously, it takes a lot more than just a good cast to make a good movie.
Clearly.
Because even, I mean,
Right?
obviously, people going back to like Detective Pikachu, people were so excited about Ryan Reynolds voicing Pikachu. But I don't feel like Ryan Reynolds made that movie.
No.
I feel like if it was anybody else who voiced him, I mean, it would still be an awesome movie.
Yeah.
They did it right. And it's not just the people who were in it, but even, you know, coming back to like the CG and stuff like that, it was amazing CG. Because one of my problems with CG is when you can look at something and it doesn't look any type of realistic. Like even freaking Garfield movies, like when he would pick up Garfield and it just looked like, oh, I'm just holding like nothing. But every time they would interact with the Pokemon, you could believe that they were interacting with them.
Yeah.
So it's not just, you can put amazing freaking actors and actresses in a movie and still get a shit movie.
And you know what? I'm going to bounce off of that since you brought that up, because I've got, in defense of certain movies, one in particular that I would say, if you watch this movie for any reason, you watch it for one actor. And that's the original Street Fighter movie. It's one of those hot messes of garbage where they try to cram in so many characters and just like, that's that guy from the game. See him. And he's just like, yeah, but what are they really bringing to this movie? You know, you've turned a character like Zangief into a big dopey idiot. It's like, what's the point? But Raul Julia plays M. Bison in that movie, and everybody may remember him more as Gomez Addams from the Addams Family movies. Dude he's just owning that role. He is the reason to watch that movie. Screw Jean-Claude Van Damme and his stupid French American guile, you know, because guile is supposed to be American, and he's all, I look at me, I'm guile, I'm coming after you, or that stupid, God. All right. Anyway, Raul Julia, this is literally one of his last movies because he passed away, I think, right after they finished filming. And he's the reason to watch that movie because he's just so good. He's hamming it up. He's just owning it, you know. So I would give you a recommendation there. I would even say, and I know a lot of people give this movie grief, but you know what? I'm going to defend it. Super Mario Brothers. If you can look past, I understand it's not owning the source material, and this may seem to counterpoint my argument that they are not owning the source material, because I feel like a lot of them don't have faith on it. But the people who acted in it, they were really good. Okay, they gave it their all.
Yeah.
You know, Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper, they all did really good. So I'm not faulting them for the movie. I have heard a tumultuous amount of garbage as to why this movie failed, from bad scripts to rewrites to lack in the source material, all this other stuff. Apparently the script originally was a dark, realistic movie. Okay, and then when they like the Mushroom Kingdom that we see, or whatever the hell, Koopa Land, that was supposed to be the dark, realistic version that they were supposed to be shooting for, and then somewhere mid-production they were like, we need to shift tone a little bit, and that's why we get this dark, gritty world, but this campy, goofy tone, because they didn't know which direction they were going. It's like
they just needed to commit to one side or the other.
And they were just like, well, we've already built this, so let's just do it. So there was a lot of problems. So I don't fault the actors for it. They'll deny it up and down. They'll say, nope, I don't. This is the worst piece of shit that I ever did. But I feel like you can find fun in it. I feel like you can enjoy it.
For sure.
For something other than being Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
It has a bit of charm. I've watched it several times. I don't hate it. But it could be better.
I mean, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I think the only problem I ever had with it was the Goombas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The goofy.
But other than that, I mean, Yoshi being how he was, and even the dark world and stuff like that, like I don't know. I guess I couldn't see it working in like an actual big open, running around giant fields and shit like that. But
well, it almost makes me wonder, like, if they made it now, because this was like early 90s, right?
And see, and we
like with the tech that we have today, I'm wondering if they could make it.
I feel like they could, done right.
But I mean, don't rely on tech, obviously.
No.
But I mean,
I feel like they could if done right with the right script. Because I'll tell one of my favorite scenes in that movie is not in the Mushroom Kingdom. There was a moment at the beginning of the movie where Mario and Luigi are on a double date. And they're just sitting there talking about it, and you see that kind of brotherly connection between them, just talking about their past and everything. I love that scene. I love that scene between them because, Luigi's just sitting there going on about how Mario raised him and stuff like that. I don't know what it is about that scene, but I love it because you just see this genuine connection between the two. That's what they need. And I think that's what the script was supposed to be, if I remember correctly. It was supposed to be about them, just like this brother carrying his brother.
And I feel like you had kind of a clean slate, right? Because there's no like huge backstory.
No. But they kind of built off of it a little bit. But again, if it was a story about an older brother trying to carry his little brother, in a hypothetical sense, that's what the story was supposed to be about. And somewhere it derailed. Yeah. The core basis of what this is supposed to be about. So, I don't know. I give it a lot more credit than a lot of other people do. Like you said, you do as well. I've argued numerous times on this show, Mortal Kombat is a solid adaptation simply because it doesn't overdo it, and then that's where its sequel failed because it overdid it. It tried too hard. And I guess, I wrote down a list of different video game movies that I, just to kind of, if we needed to touch on, I think we've mentioned Assassin's Creed in the past. It was just kind of dull. I feel like if they'd have stuck to the past stuff, it would have been better. And I understand there was the story because the games do it too, but you spend more time in the past, in the games. So take that as your cue. I felt Rampage was good.
Was the more interesting
I love
aspect
Rampage.
of it.
I felt like Rampage was good.
What's that?
With The Rock. And a lot of people are like, well, it's just dumb, stupid fun. Yeah, but that's what the game is too.
Yeah.
You're just smashing buildings. So they did exactly that. What else do you need?
And that was one game that me and my sister played.
But I think the anomaly that I would like to discuss real quick, I guess before we kind of time out with it all, is Resident Evil. How the hell did that get 6 movies? Like, I remember watching the first one and saying, this is absolute trash. And talking about not really owning your source material. This movie
it was just basically in that world, and that was that.
It just spit it out.
But see, they do that crap with
maybe
non-video game movies and everything, too. It's just, you're going to have people that love these stupid, over-the-top type movies. And I feel like Resident Evil, the reason it has such a backing is because I'm sure the people who started watching it loved the games. But...
And, there are fans for all sorts of things. And somehow this found its footing somewhere. I don't know how. It blows my mind.
Or it just kept making just enough.
Yeah. But, you got to give it credit to the director. He definitely knows how to keep his wife acting, because boy, he built a franchise around her.
Who's his wife?
The main actress, what's her name? Mila Jovovich.
Mila Jovovich.
Oh, isn't that Lilu?
Yeah. Lilu. Bula. From The Fifth Element, if you don't know what we're talking about.
I love that movie so much.
I know you do. You bring that up around her and she'll go crazy.
Oh, I fucking love The Fifth Element.
So, I mean, I don't really know if we kind of covered any grounds as to why. I mean, what is it that's going to make these work? The next two that are coming out, we see a Sonic the Hedgehog, and then after that, it's going to be Monster Hunter, and both already seem like they are failing. And
Well,
I even feel like if Sonic had looked like Sonic, I'm not even talking about that. Did the trailer as a whole, even if he looked accurate, would it have enticed you at all?
well, I feel like it might have enticed a little more if they hadn't of. I mean, the first thing that people complained about was obviously them playing freaking Gangster's Paradise. And that just, I mean,
Which I did think was an odd choice. Yeah.
There's not been one single explanation for that whatsoever. No. So many people on the internet. I have been so happy to hear so many other people saying, "What is that about?
Yeah.
Is there something I missed?" No,
Right.
Clearly not.
I feel like it's a very simple story you could do. My biggest problems with the trailer, and obviously they haven't explained a lot of it. I know they're supposed to be going back and redoing how Sonic looks.
But beyond that, I mean, the story.
Beyond that, I mean, first of all, the rings. I talked about you with that. Is now they like open freaking portals or something, which is just weird. Two, I didn't know Sonic could move so fast.
Material, man. I just.
But I mean, I didn't know Sonic could move so fast to like basically stop time.
Yeah, I never got that either.
Which was really weird. And then three, the fact that the doctor, he's now working with the government, which just seemed.
I mean, they're
weird.
the ones who bring him in to stop Sonic. So if he goes mad, whose fault is that? You know, you brought him here.
He already kind of seems mad.
But he works for the government.
Exactly,
So
and
he's
that's
already
what I
a
don't
trusted advisor
understand.
for them. The government's already shit, so this is not new.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's nothing about that movie that.
I mean, as of right now, Jim Carrey would be the only reason I would see the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad to see him back in.
But even that's just not. Because we're going to get a bunch of Sonic. And you know what? And
Because, I mean, I've seen that Jim Carrey, so to be fair, it's not even a selling point for me right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and I love James Marsden, the guy who's playing opposite Sonic. I mean, dude always seems to get stuck in these movies. He's such a good actor.
Well, he doesn't get stuck.
Well, maybe he likes them or needs a new agent. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously accepts them, so.
And then I'm going to pivot to Monster Hunter, which is also being directed from, if I remember correctly, being directed by the guy who did the Resident Evil franchise. And of course, his wife is in it, But what are they doing? They're not putting it in the Monster Hunter world specifically. It's got to be real world. Monster Hunter the world is separate. And I feel like that is a complete lack of faith in the source material. Because the world itself can work.
Yeah.
Why do we need real world Monster Hunter? We don't. The world itself can work. Build off of that. I just don't. I already feel like it's going to be a failure. I'm not going to like it because of that. Because it's a trope that is getting old. Like when they used to do cartoon characters coming into the real world, like Fat Albert and stuff like that. It's like, why? Just tell the story of these characters. It doesn't have to be some transitional garbage between worlds. You have no faith in this character and what they are about.
Yep.
To tell a story within their own world. So you have to take them out of it. That's ridiculous.
You could literally make a movie based off of any of the games.
Yeah.
Because it's a freaking, I guess, a town, I guess you could kind of call it, a village.
Yeah.
Bringing in an outsider to help solve their problems. Like, that's the biggest thing. And I feel like it's an easy freaking movie to do, but apparently
it
not.
sounds like
so.
it. I've even said that, like, a Legend of Zelda movie, you can just pick and choose elements from certain games, combine that into a movie. You could take Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, like the village farm boy element of Link in Twilight Princess, combine that with the Ocarina of Time, him having to go to the castle and getting swept up into Ganondorf's plan to try and usurp the throne. There's your movie.
Yeah.
He just learns about his destiny. He just happened to be a farm boy who didn't know what to do, and then he gets swept up, and he's the hero. Boom. There's your movie. Basic. Simple.
As long as they don't make him super cheesy like the freaking cartoon did.
Yeah, well, we're not going to get into that. But I guess at the end of the day, what we're trying to... I feel like movie companies, studios, executives, all these people who want to do these properties, who want to make these movies, they need to trust the source material. I understand certain games, like we said, Super Mario Brothers, really doesn't have a backstory. So you're going to have to make that. But trust what your characters are. Trust what makes them popular. And build upon that. Make something. Right. Detective Pikachu works because you took the source material and you made it work on screen. You didn't try to change it. You didn't try to tweak it. You accepted, this is the world. Pokemon and humans live together. They work together.
And you should do that more, because the reason why those games are popular is because of what's in that game.
Yep.
And if they wanted...
We don't need to create a whole new thing for it.
And I know that there's been talk about doing a spin-off based on the original games. If you don't want to follow Ash Ketchum, that's fine. But follow that basis. A trainer, a young boy, a trainer on his journey.
Yeah.
Then build off of it. But do not change a thing from that point on, as far as the world around that character. Just embrace it. They embraced it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's so many Pokemon trainers and stuff like that they can, I guess, make a movie off of or anything like that.
Yeah, so I feel like, we go on all day about this, but embrace your characters.
It's easy to do, right?
Embrace what you can do, and I don't know. We'll stop right there, because we can't really go on any farther. I don't really know what more we can say, but there we go. We've said it. We've said all we can about it. So anyway, guys, that's our show. Hope if you've got any opinions about this, throw them our way.
Yes, please let us know.
Follow us on Twitter. You can add us at Super Mega Crash. Give us your opinions on video game movies and all that. Find us on Instagram. You can view our weekly icon art. We're really going to have an awesome one this week, if I may say so myself.
Yeah.
Shoot us an email at supermegacrash@gmail.com. We'll read it on the show, or you can add us as like Warwick did, and we'll read that on the show too. Support our show by leaving a like button or pressing that like button. You can leave reviews on your preferred platform. You can even go to patreon.com/Pencil and Paper Productions and chuck in a buck. Should you want to share the love, you can tell your friends to find us on the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network, found on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, or Spotify, where we are number one and the only podcast on that platform.
The only podcast.
That's why we're number one.
The only one.
Thank you so much for listening. I am Stephen White.
I'm Lacey Finley.
I'm Katrina White.
Join us again next time, Super Mega Crash siblings. But until then, game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.